All right, excited to welcome our next speaker on the 40 Over 40 Summit, Jozanne Elizabeth Joseph. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Jozanne is a midlife mystic, an inner transform guide, supporting women over 40 in reclaiming their voice, intuition, and purpose to create lives that feel as good as they look. After 2 decades in financial services, she now guides women through burnout, self doubt, and over responsibility into clarity, self trust, and authentic power. Yes, she is an ICF certified coach, CPA, MBA, and creator of PRISM, a transformational framework for inner alignment and conscious leadership. Welcome, Jozanne.
Thank you, Sherry.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ladies, for this beautiful space that we're creating for each other. I want to talk about my journey from silence to truth and performance to peace. There's a specific kind of exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. And it's the exhaustion of performing, of waking up every day and acting, acting your way through a life that looks impressive but feels hollow. And for a long time, my life looked impressive from the outside. I had the credentials, the titles, and the quiet strength that people admired. But inside, no one knew what was going on. I was a nervous wreck. My inner critic ran nonstop in my head. I was always scanning for threats, calculating risks, making sure I never said or did anything that might make me vulnerable to judgment. I wasn't living my life. I was managing everyone else's perception of it. And I didn't realize that I was wearing a mask. And not the kind that you can take off at the end of the day, the kind that actually becomes your identity. The good girl, the quiet one, the one who always seems to have it all together. But I'd worn the roles for so long that I couldn't tell where they ended and I began. I used to be the woman who would rehearse, I would rehearse sentences in my head before speaking. And it didn't matter who I was talking to. I had to be in control of me because I was scared of being judged and scared of really being seen because I always felt like I'm too much. Like my mom would always say, "Oh, you're so much." Like, really? But I've come a long way from that. And now I'm a woman who's no longer afraid to speak her truth, to claim who she is and ask for what she wants. I peeled away that mask that said, stay quiet, don't ask, don't rock the boat. Beneath it, I didn't find the chaos and catastrophe that I'd been warned about, that I was so afraid of. What I actually found was a woman who'd been waiting. She was patient, she was powerful, and she was ready. And she knew all along that silence is not safety, that shrinking does not create space for growth, and that the real danger wasn't in speaking up, but in staying silent. Let me ask you something. Do you have a gold star life that you worked hard to create, yet you still wake up with a sense that something's missing, but you don't know what? Do you feel guilty for that, like distant longing that you have inside because everything you're supposed to need for a good life you already have? Are you tired of being the strong one, the one that everyone turns to because you always have your shit together? And if you're nodding or if your heart just did a little flip, this is for you. My name is Jozanne Elizabeth Joseph, and I'm known as the Midlife Mystic. And I work with high achieving women who, from the outside, have built impressive lives. But on the inside, they're feeling disconnected, they're exhausted, and they're wondering, is there more to life? I work with women who are done performing and ready to come home to themselves. I lived that life. That was my story. For most of my life, I was the quiet, shy girl, the good girl who did as she was told and was rewarded for following all the rules. I had the lovely Catholic school upbringing, and in Catholic school, the nuns, they gave out gold stars to the top students. And I collected those stars like they were proof of my value, of my worth. So I learned early that if I couldn't be the loudest, then I would be the most responsible. So I was the child with the grown up personality. I was hanging out with the adults. I was monitoring the other kids and keeping things in order. But my shyness wasn't just silence. It was a vigilance. I was always scanning for those threats in that state of fear, like what is going to happen to me? And I used to tell myself, I love my own company. I prefer my own company. And for a long time, I think I really believed that. But the truth, I was terrified of being seen and found lacking. And as an adult, I let my degrees and credentials and titles speak for me. I didn't need to risk my own voice if I could point to my resume. This is all the things that I've done. I actually spent 27 years in corporate financial services. And, having that resume, yeah, it opens doors. And for a long time, I thought that was enough. That if I just kept achieving, if I kept performing, if I kept ticking the boxes, I'd eventually feel the way that my life looked. But what that achievement kept revealing to me was the same truth over and over again, that you can build an impressive life and still feel like you're losing yourself inside of it. So from the outside, yeah, it looked like I was winning. Yeah, she has everything. Oh, yeah. This is what my family used to say. And on the inside, I was still that scared little girl hiding behind her achievement and terrified that if I stopped doing, that I would stop being worthy. And then I hit midlife. Society calls it a crisis, but I called it the awakening. It's the moment you realize that the identities that you built to protect you, the good girl, the achiever, the pleaser, they've become a prison. And the cost of wearing them becomes too high. For me, it cost my voice, my health, my relationships. It disconnected me from myself, from what I actually wanted, from what I felt and what I needed. And I realized, oh my gosh, I was so good at being who everyone wanted me to be that I had no idea who I was. I had achieved success that looked good on paper, but beneath the impressive resume was a woman running on empty. exhausted by achievements that fed everyone's expectations but her own. And my shift, it didn't come from like setting a new strategy or another goal. It came from a simple decision, which at the time seemed really terrifying. And it was to start telling the truth to myself, to others. The first time I said no to something that I normally have said yes to, my hands were shaking. It was a request from one of my colleagues, and it was something that would have taken hours of my time. But this was someone else's project, it wasn't mine. And the old me would have absolutely said, yeah, I'd be happy to help. But instead, I said, I'm not able to take that on right now. And my heart was pounding, and I was waiting for the sky to drop, but it didn't. It didn't. I actually felt relief. And I realized, oh my gosh, I had been negotiating with my own life for decades. The mask of silence had kept me safe for so long. But the more I spoke, the more the real me emerged. And the easier I could breathe. I was genuinely more confident because I no longer had anything to hide. I stopped abandoning myself. I know we use that word a lot. Yeah, I think I did that a lot. But I finally stopped overriding my emotions and ignoring what I knew to be true in order to keep the peace. And for the first time in my life, the inner noise, that inner critic started to quiet. My alignment didn't come from me trying to control my environment or how people see me. It came from me actually telling the truth, no longer betraying myself and what I know inside to be true for me. So self-love in midlife is not bubble baths and affirmations and nights out with your girlfriends. Those matter, don't get me wrong, but they're not enough. Real self-love is self-trust and self-respect. It's that radical acceptance of the whole you, the light and the shadow, the parts that you're proud of and the parts that you've hidden. It's looking back at the woman that you once were, the one who people pleased, who stayed quiet, who made herself small, and instead of shame, offering her compassion. Compassion for doing what she needed to do to survive. Coming home to the woman you were before you learned that love required a performance. This is what I call prism work. Seeing yourself clearly, maybe for the first time, and letting that clarity guide everything else that you do. When you trust yourself again, your life reorganizes around that truth. It's not overnight, but it's unmistakable. It shows up in the work that you choose, in the boundaries you set, the people that you keep close. And success stops being something you perform and it becomes something you embody and feel on a daily basis. Now, I'd like to invite you into a moment of reflection. You don't need to share anything in the chat if you don't want to. This is just for you. If you're comfortable, I'll ask you to close your eyes or lower your gaze. and place a hand on your heart and take a slow breath. Now ask yourself, where in my life am I still hiding? Where am I still staying silent to keep the peace? What part of me is ready to be expressed in this season? Don't overthink it. Just feel what rises in your body because your body already knows. And the chances are you've been ignoring it. In my work now, I help women see where they're still performing, where they're exhausting themselves, trying to maintain a version that no longer fits. Usually, it's not that they don't know what's wrong, it's that they haven't given themselves permission to actually admit it. And I remind them that I'm not here to give you answers. I'm here to help you hear the truth that you've been overriding for years. And the truth is that we're powerful, but society has taught us not to believe that, to dim our light, to play ourselves down. When we slow down and actually create stillness, the patterns that we once held on to and the acting become obvious. And once you see them, you can choose to put the mask down. Life feels less heavy. You get your energy back. You feel like you. Midlife is the season of becoming. Your purpose is no longer trying to prove your worth. You don't have to prove a thing, sister. It's time to express the deepest parts of you, your wisdom, to choose your peace, to choose the places you want to be in, to choose the people that you want to spend time with, and to let your life reflect the woman you've become. Now, that quiet, scared little girl in me is still here. She's still very much here, but she's no longer hiding. She's speaking. And your voice, whatever it sounds like right now, that matters too. The world is so much richer because of you. It needs your truth, your light, your voice, and your life can begin to feel as good as it looks the moment you stop hiding from yourself. Now, if something in this talk like resonated with you, I created a simple practice to help you come back to yourself when life gets loud again. And it's called the Inner Alignment Reset. And that's my free gift to all of you. It's a short guided audio and it's a gentle grounding practice. It's designed to help you return to your center, when life starts to feel overwhelming and more demanding of you. And it's a guided experience that supports you in calming your nervous system, reconnecting with your body and restoring your inner coherence so that your higher self, your clarity can emerge naturally. And it's a practice that invites you to slow down, to soften and stabilize so that you can make presence a lived experience that you can keep returning to again and again and again. Because what's the point of living if we're not present in it, to enjoy it, to feel, to love, to experience? That's returning home to yourself. That's it, Sherry. You can come back.
Awesome. Love this. And we've got a couple of comments in the chat here, both similar. Cindy says,
Mm.
I've been told that I'm too much. I'm at a point in my life that I refuse to be smaller for someone else's comfort. Swan says, my ex told me I was too difficult. I think this goes back to even Melissa's talk earlier, where she was talking about, I mean, there's that conditioning that somehow as women too, it's like, we're supposed to be quiet, good little girls, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
follow the rules, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm.
Seen and not heard. I used to hear that all the time as a kid.
Is that
Children
right?
are meant to be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm. Really? Yeah, like why are we conditioning our our kids, our women, our people in that way? Um,
Mm.
I loved what you're sharing here. And it's like, of course, it's so alive in me, and I'm sure many others here. We can all, I'm sure, relate to what you're sharing in the whole process, like you're talking about, like this whole piece around, um, and Anita and Cheryl talked about that a little bit in their talk. Like how did they say it? We're conditioned to be consumers. We're
Yeah.
conditioned to think the answers are out there. We're conditioned to look for stuff, outside of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And what are we told? To look good, right? Look
Yeah,
pretty, smile. I used to hear that all the time. And oh my gosh. Ah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's not about that. It's like it's like, what did Melissa say earlier too? Is something about, you know, how your body looks is about the least most interesting thing about you, right? Which I love that because it's like, yeah, there's so much. That's what you're talking about. There's so much
Yeah.
inside of us, and really,
We
really
we
important.
obsess about things thinking that people are actually paying attention to us when they're not, because they're in their own heads, writing their own stuff.
Oh my gosh, isn't that true?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you because I know for me, I spent years struggling with this question.
Hmm.
And I'm sure, well, I know that I'm not alone in that. So, you talk about that, this whole thing of, and I'll sort of put it into my own words of like doing this job or doing that thing and getting these achievements, and which are really, there's someone else's goals, they're not yours, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, those are easy to do because it's quite detailed. Like, do you know what I mean? It's easy to go, okay, go to this school, get
There's a
a
step,
degree,
step by step
go
that you
get this
follow.
job, go do that. That next thing, buy a car. Next thing, get your degree. Next thing, get a home. Next thing, have some kids. Like it's quite right, well
Mhm.
subscribed, and it's sort of like, okay, this is what I do. My question for you is, what if, so you're starting to realize, wow, like you talked about, there's something more.
Yeah.
But what if I don't know what that is for me?
I think most of us start out not knowing what that is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that's when you wake up to actually going on that inner journey,
Hmm.
creating, when I talked about creating that stillness, that's sitting with yourself.
Mm. So important.
That's closing your eyes for however many minutes that you have in that moment to check in with yourself. What do I need right now? What am I feeling right now?
Hmm.
What is my body trying to tell me? I mean, for years, I overrode my body big time, and I would be sick like all the time when I was working. It was like if something was overwhelming, my body would create a sickness around it.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
It's like
Yeah.
head, 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 thinking about everything,
Yeah.
doing, as you said. Lots of
Yeah.
doing. Oh, I don't feel good. I better do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember having we had an offsite conference in like London and I was supposed to go away for 3 days and I had a like a 6 month old at home and I was just like, what the hell? And I had to present and I was working with like the head of HR and on a presentation about I had walking pneumonia and did not know it.
Oh gosh,
I
right?
had 103 fever
Yeah.
and I was at work.
Come on, keep doing, keep do.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's
Somebody was like,
crazy.
Jozanne, you don't look so good. Maybe you should go to the nurse or whatever. There was like a little office. 103 fever,
Hmm.
walking pneumonia.
Yeah.
That's how we keep pushing ourselves because we think that we have to stay on the treadmill.
Yeah.
But no,
Walking pneumonia, and I'm thinking walking neck down dead. Right? Like that's what I think a lot of us have come from, like neck down dead. It's really what you're talking about is this invitation. And that's where I've just come to know more recently myself. Like there's so many answers in our body,
yeah. But we
right?
have to listen.
We have to
Mhm.
listen. And you know, I can remember not all that long ago, a coach saying to me, "So where do you feel that in your body?" And
Mhm.
going, "What? What do you mean?" And being very frustrated with that question, right? Because again, neck down dead. Where do I feel that in my body? I don't know. So
Yes.
I think what you're asking here and what you're talking about here is really important,
Yeah.
right? What's happening in you.
But you know what, Sherry? I mean, to your point about that, when we're in stress, we are not in our bodies. We are
No.
not tapped into what's going on, right? So we need to create that space to slow
Yeah.
down in
Yeah.
order to have those check-in periods. Because when
Yeah.
you're in stress mode, that's survival. You have no time to think about where am I feeling that in my body. You
Totally.
have to
It's
create
get
that
get
space.
yourself, yeah, out of that because you're in total fight or flight. And of course, your brain is designed that way for a reason,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But we don't have to run from the saber-toothed tigers anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All
Yeah.
right. I know we're running out of time. Thank you for that beautiful session. Do you want to share a little bit about your free gift, the Inner Alignment Reset? I know you already mentioned that, but just give us
Yeah.
a recap and share a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's a short guided audio, and it's just a grounded practice to bring you back to your center. When you feel like things are out of control and you really just need a reset, go listen to it. It's a few minutes long. It'll bring you back to
Beautiful.
your body. Yeah.
Love it. So great start right there to exactly what we're talking about. So I love that your gift is so aligned. And then your VIP gift, 45-minute alignment reset. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that's going to be some one-to-one time with me. And it's
Perfect.
going to be a space that's really designed to return you to your center, to restore your clarity, to reconnect to yourself. So we begin with like a 15-minute intuitive energy scan that I do, and it's just in attuning to your system to
Mm.
see what you're holding,
Oh,
right? Like
beautiful.
where is there some resistance, some blockages? And
Ah,
from there,
love
yeah,
it.
we explore. Yeah, what's asking to be released and realigned. And then we do some realignment work.
That sounds so juicy. And again, so aligned with, so if you're feeling like, yeah, I'm having trouble connecting and I'm having trouble getting into that peaceful place where I can really listen, this is a beautiful, beautiful gift for you. So again, VIP upgrade, just $47 Canadian, all the recordings, this amazing gift of the 45-minute alignment reset, and many, many, many more, 44 to be exact, other VIP gifts. And then, of course, your name in the draw for the $500 cash spend with the speaker of your choice, maybe Jozanne. Jozanne, thank you so much for saying yes and co-creating this experience with us.
Thank you so much, Sherry. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so excited for what's to still come over the next
Yeah,
couple of
me
days.
too. All right, thank you.